I've not seen any lawmakers respond at all to this. I've only seen the one article. I'm going to see if I can't get anybody to take a look at this, but I certainly haven't seen anything so far.
Are you on? Which side are you on?
Dale Jackson here with you. Thank you very much for being here. Jacob Morrison is with us, Valley Labor Report. You can hear his show 9:30 to 11 right here on WVNN. Jacob, you raised a pretty interesting issue the other day, and I want to talk about it. The state of Alabama and its workers are not protected by some of the same regulations and rules that your average workers are protected by. Why? Well, why is that a thing? Before we get into the details of this particular case and who wants to change this, why in the world is that a thing?
Because the reason is that OSHA, the Occupational Safety and Health Act, does not cover state and municipal employees. So public sector workers that work for the state and work for municipalities are not covered by OSHA. And I think that the reason that is because there are some arguments about like the federal government not having the authority to impose those rules on state and municipal governments. I think that's the reason. I'm not totally sure, but I just know that it is true that the federal OSHA does not cover state and municipal workers. And so then it is on the individual states and municipalities to say whether or not they're going to have their own safety standards. Many states across the country have adopted the same language as OSHA, basically, and some municipalities have, but Alabama has not. Alabama's government has opted to continue to have its employees not have the same safety standards as basically every other American worker.
So there's something that's happened in the state of Alabama. Tell us about the accident that took place and the family that was impacted and why they want things changed. Yeah,
and, to start off, I wouldn't have known about this, actually, but for 1819 News. So, I really do want to give them kudos for that. The reporting was really good and I think really fair. And, I was very surprised when I read it because it was very good. And so what happened was last year there was a 36-year-old man who worked for the Alabama Forestry Commission, who was taking down some electric tower or communications tower or something, and it fell on him, and it killed him instantly. He left behind a wife and 5 children, and his brother and his family, but in particular his brother's kind of been spearheading this effort to get answers from the Forestry Commission about, like, why his brother, for example, was doing this work, because he asserts that his brother never had training for that kind of stuff. And that the people around, there weren't enough people doing that thing, taking down a tower that's big enough to kill someone on impact. And so his brother just doesn't think that it was safe. And then his brother, found out that, we're not, the Alabama Forestry Commission workers are not covered by OSHA. And that, the sheriff's department in that county supposedly investigated it, and they just sent the wife a letter saying it was an accident. And the brother said that they don't know anything else about why it happened or anything like that. And so he is wanting to try to get legislators to create a law that brings state and municipal workers here in Alabama under the same protections that private sector workers in the state have through the federal level Occupational Safety and Health Act.
Okay, so let me see if I understand this correctly. There was an accident that took place on the workplace with the Alabama Forestry Agency. The individual who was killed, his family wanted some investigation done, and the sheriff's department said, "Hey, look, this was an accident," which I don't think anyone's suggesting otherwise. But they're also suggesting that it wasn't safe enough. And because of that, there should have been some sort of regulations on how this is being done as there are on the federal level, which can't exist because of the separation between the states and the federal government on these kind of issues. So they want the state of Alabama to create its own, basically, OSHA organization, correct?
Yeah, that's right. And you know, also another thing that OSHA does is it gives people guidelines and it gives reports after accidents. Like, this is what happened. This is how it could have been prevented. There's not even anything like that, you know, much less a fine or discipline for the people responsible. There's not even like a report about how to not have this happen going forward.
Okay, so that one seems that seems like kind of the angle that should be followed, is to get some reporting done on why these accidents happen. Have lawmakers responded in any way to this stuff?
I've not seen any lawmakers respond at all to this. I've only seen the one article on 1819 News. I'm going to see if I can't get anybody to take a look at this, but I certainly haven't seen anything so far.
There we go. Jacob Morrison, Valley Labor Report. Check him out this Saturday, 9:30 to 11, right here on WVN, and Saturdays, 9:30 to 11 on WVN. And thanks a lot to Jacob Morrison. We appreciate him taking the time to join us.
You just saw a clip from the Valley Labor Report. We are live every Saturday morning from 9:30 a.m. till 12:30 p.m. And we pride ourselves on keeping all of our content free to everybody so that we can talk to as many working folks as possible. If you support the work that we're doing, you think that it's important, you think that it's good, then consider making a monthly contribution to the project, and you can do that on our website, tvlr.fm.